And we're live. Welcome everyone to another episode of FPL Focal. Hope you're all well. It's game week 35. It's a triple game week, unbelievably. My free hit chip is active. I've been switching the armband back and forth between Bruno and Salah all day, and I think I'm going to leave it on Bruno. I think I'm feeling settled with that, but I might change my mind again during the stream. And I'll talk a little bit later about why I was considering Salah over Bruno. But yeah, the season gets crazier and crazier. We've had last minute COVID postponements. We've had fans creating unannounced blank game weeks. Tons of other blanks and doubles. And now a triple game week. Unbelievable. The last time we had a triple game week was in the 2005-2006 season, which I definitely do not remember. But that was Middlesbrough who had a triple game week back then, going way back. And yeah, pretty much everyone was rotated. And the player who got the most minutes was Lee Catamol, and he only played 198 minutes. So I'm not convinced we're going to see good minutes from the likes of Bruno, Rashford, Greenwood, Maguire, other United players. Certainly not Cavani, but we'll have to see. Welcome to the stream, everyone. Thank you all for being here. Aish, Adam, HS Lee, James, Sponchy. Hope you're all well, and thank you for tuning in. Crunch time, free hit is active. I'm still not sure about whether to go Captain Bruno or Salah. Who have you guys got the armband on? Don't forget to vote on the Captain poll if you haven't. There's a poll on the Discord and the Captain poll channel. I'll have a look at the results of that a little bit later. See how everyone's doing. Sponchy says going for Zaha punt. Zaha captain punt. Love the Zaha punt. He's someone we'll talk about in the news roundup in a second. Looks like he's back from his injury, so he could be a very good option. He obviously plays Sheffield, which is a very strong fixture, and then I think his second fixture is Southampton. So two good fixtures for Palace. Obviously not a very attacking side, but Zaha is one of those players that can put up returns in any game, and perhaps he's looking to force a move away in the summer. Perhaps. I'd be speculating, but maybe we'll be putting on a show in this double game week. Mikey Mouse says any Nacho captain is in the chat. Certainly not myself. But he's one of the players, actually, that was on the captain poll video posted yesterday. He's certainly a viable option. So Leicester have got Newcastle at home. Very good fixture, obviously. And then they play Man United away. And that Man United game is sandwiched in the middle of their triple game week. So I fully expect to see quite a rotated Man United side. Hopefully you can't hear Teddy. I normally hide all his squeaky toys before the stream, but I completely forgot for this one. Been rushing around today. I'm going away on holiday again, straight after the stream ends, but had to squeeze another deadline stream. It's very tight at the top of the FPL Focal Mini League as well. Monkey Man and Young God competing for that top spot. I'm not sure which way it's going to go yet. I'm not sure what chips Young God's got left yet, but what have you got left, Monkey Man? Have you used all your chips up now? Adam asks, why Rashford over Greenwood? Really, it was because of last night's Europa League game. So Mason Greenwood played the full 90, while Rashford was on the bench, and he came on for like the last 20 minutes or so. So he's had a little bit more of a rest. Therefore, I expect him to start the Villa game. I expect him to start the Liverpool game. So again, he could be rotated in that Leicester game in the middle. Hard to say, but I think I'd prefer my Man United asset to start against Villa than that game in the middle against Leicester, because I do expect a very rotated Man United team. I was listening to Solskjaer's press conference actually, and they asked him, is there a chance that you'll rotate an entire different 11 for the Leicester game? And he said, yeah, it's possible. Absolutely possible. Anyway, let's crack on with the news roundup. Starting with Leicester, so Sam Martin again has leaked tonight's lineup. So tonight's Leicester lineup, barring any late changes, will be Schmeichel, Pereira, Soyuncu, Fofana, Evans, Castagna, Ndidi, Tielemans, Maddison, Vardy and Iheanacho. So the only change to the Leicester side compared to last game week is that Pereira comes in and Thomas drops to the bench. So it could be Castagna playing left wing back and Ricardo right wing back potentially. But yeah, that's tonight's lineup for the Newcastle game. So yeah, Zaha posted a tweet earlier this week, back in training. So it looks like that hamstring problem isn't a serious one, and he is back. And he wasn't one of those players ruled out by Hodgson when asked about who's out. So yeah, it looks like Zaha's back. Everything points towards that. So Maguire's in my free hit team, and honestly I don't know if any of the Man United players will play all three, but he's the player I've got at the moment in my draft. And Solskjaer said Harry Maguire's played every minute for us in the Premier League since he came. I don't think that's possible now. So whether that means he just starts the second game and then doesn't finish it, or whether he's completely on the bench for that, difficult to say. But he's probably still the safest of the lot, but it wouldn't surprise me if we do see a completely rotated back four for that game, which could be a very good thing for Leicester if they do play a very rotated Man United side. And yeah, as I was talking about earlier, Solskjaer warns that he could field an entirely different 11 in one of their next 3 games. So I think Villa will be the game where they put out a strong side, they'll go for the win, and you'd expect Solskjaer to play a very strong side against Liverpool, because obviously that's a big game for Man United whenever those two sides meet. So it could be the Leicester game in the middle that he rotates very heavily. That said, I love this quote from Bruno. He said, I will never say I'm too tired to play, because this is my dream. I will never be tired to play. When I was a kid, I played maybe 7 or 8 hours a day. So to play 90 minutes every 3 days or 2 days is not enough for me. Great quote from Bruno. We'll have to see whether he does play all 3, because I'm personally not sure if the medical staff will let him. You know, I don't know. I'm not a medical expert, but it seems a bit crazy if they do let Bruno play all 3 or start all 3. And lastly, a bit of Everton news. So James Rodriguez misses out, unfortunately. Could be back for the second of Everton's double, but he will miss the first. And Doucouré is back, so that's good news for anyone with Everton assets, both in attack and defence. Good news for Dina owners. And this is a quick look back on Game Week 34, the Kings of the Game Week. We'll continue to track this every game week, and it was Bale who joined the Kings in the 34 for the second time this season. So I believe he's the third player to make the Kings twice. So it's Bale, he did it in 34 and 26. Dallas did it in 31 and 25. And the other was Mahrez, who made it in 27 and Game Week 10. So who do you guys think will make the Kings after this game week? Is it going to be the obvious one, Bruno? Is it going to be a completely unexpected player that we never considered? You know, like Richarlison or something. Maybe, after getting in back in Game Week 1, Salah finally comes back in. Salah, I think, is a genuine captain choice. He's got the Southampton fixture, which is obviously a very, very good fixture. And Ryan Bertrand is out injured. Hassan Hutel confirmed. And that's going to be the side that Salah is attacking down. So, again, it's just everything points towards Salah doing well in that Southampton game. And then likewise, Salah's second game is, of course, Man United, which could be a tight game, but obviously Man United will have played so many games by the time they get to that fixture. So who knows what will happen in that game, whether it be an open game or a particularly tight game. And I wanted to quickly highlight this manager. He had an absolute shocker. So this is Luke Bethel from Australia. And back in Game Week 33, he was in the top 10k. Top 10k overall rank. And then he took a -8 going into Game Week 34. He got 14 points. So he finished on 6 points. Absolute disaster class, that one. Absolutely horrendous. The only return he got from his entire team was Iheanacho with the single assist. He had obviously Trent, Stones, Rudiger, Bruno, Rodriguez, Rafinha, all didn't play. And he also had Shaw, Diaz and Jota, who also didn't play. So absolute mare for that lad. Unfortunate. I hope he can bounce back. And this is the Premier Players FPL League. It's still James Justin completely out in front. You know, he's definitely going to win this quite comfortably. Harry Maguire overtook Bartley, so he's up to 4th. Interestingly, Maguire hasn't owned himself in his FPL team all season. Justin and McGinn have owned themselves all season. Justin even kept himself in his wildcard draft, interestingly. Obviously, despite him being likely out for the season. But yeah, Maguire's not owned himself at all. So not backing himself, Maguire, perhaps. And this is the scout selection for Game Week 35. Triple Game Week 35. What do you guys think? I'll try and catch up on chat. Let me know your thoughts on this Game Week scout selection. Rabble, how you doing? Arpit, how's it going? Yeah, it's been a long time. Welcome back. Jesma, how we doing? Bonshy's going to get Godfrey in. Marcel, how we doing, mate? Imdadul says James Ward-Prowse. What's that, in your team? Ward-Prowse is another one going under the radar. The scout have obviously got him here. He's got Liverpool and then Palace. The Liverpool game obviously will be tough, but the Palace game looks like a good fixture. Palace quite leaky. And this is why I ended up with Alisson on my free hit draft, because Greater does look like the next best option, but I don't know if I can back Crystal Palace in a double game week. I know they've got Sheffield, but you know, what are we hoping for there? Whereas I think Alisson's got it in his locker to get 2 clean sheets in the 2 games. Ratsk says the Kings of the game, it could be a Man U defender. Yeah, absolutely, it could be. If we end up with a random player, could be like Wan-Bissaka, ends up playing all 3. It could easily be him. You know, if United, if their game management is to play tight games, see out the win rather than play expansive, fluid football, then yeah, it could be someone like Wan-Bissaka that comes out on top. Afan, how are we doing? Ayush, how you doing, mate? Ayush says Kane is scary. He's trying to decide between Kane or Vardy on a free hit. Yeah, I was stuck making the same decision, and I ended up with Vardy. I think you just have to back the player that plays twice, especially for the reasons we were talking about just now in Leicester's case. Really good Newcastle fixture, and then obviously the Man United game is in the middle of their triple, so I think we're going to see quite a rotated Man United side for that game, which again could be great news for Vardy and Leicester. Dylan, how you doing, mate? He says, hi, mate. Still stuck with my transfer. Sell Mount or Jota for Bruno. I would sell Mount between the two. Jota might not play both. Mount not play both, but I think I'd probably sell Mount, to be honest. Sponshy says, benching Kane this game week. Don't know about that one, Sponshy. I know you love playing a differential game, but don't know about that one. But you quite rightly say Watkins could get a lot of points. Yeah, Watkins is in the scout selection here. He's got Man United and Everton. He's in good form. I think he's returned in his last 4 or 5 games, so definitely an option, Watkins. I had him in my regular team, actually, but he didn't make my free hit team. So anyway, yeah, I think this is a strong team. Obviously the caveats with Man United is, do they play on all three? I don't know if any of them do. I think maybe 1 or 2 might, but it's so hard to call which ones do. It could be Bruno who starts the first and third, and he comes on as a sub against Leicester, something like that. Maybe Maguire does. Maguire's played every minute this season, which Solskjaer pointed out. So maybe Maguire will be keen to continue that record and play every minute this season, But the other thing I don't want to rule out completely is another postponement. I hope it doesn't happen, and I hope it's a good peaceful protest, no fans on the pitch. But Man United supporters are planning to hold a second protest ahead of the rearranged game against Liverpool outside Old Trafford from 5 p.m. next Thursday. So yeah, it looks like we'll see more protests. I certainly hope we don't see any more postponements or anyone hurt. I think there was some officials or police officers got injured in the last protest. Obviously they're protesting a good cause. Just hope we don't see any more postponements, because it will be very messy and not ideal for those of us that have Liverpool and United players. Now I have a question for you guys. Can you name any of the most transferred in players heading into this game week? Most transferred in. Which players? How many can you name? HS says Captain Greenwood or Zaha. I think I'd have it on Greenwood between the two. Difficult one. That Zaha could do well. Obviously he's expected to get the 90 in both, but it's not out of the question for Greenwood to get 90 in 2 games, and then maybe a sub appearance. Krisha asks Wan-Bissaka short or Maguire. Really tough one, that. I don't think any of them play in all 3, or start all 3 at least. Maguire seemed like the most likely, but obviously when we're doing the news roundup at the start of the stream, Solskjaer says he doesn't think it's possible for Maguire to play all 3, having played every minute so far this season. So I've got Maguire in my free hit draft. But yeah, I don't know if any of them play all 3. I think in order it would go Maguire, then Wan-Bissaka, and then Shaw. Because they do have natural options at left back. They've got Telles and Williams. So therefore, I think in the Leicester game he plays Telles or Williams. I'm not sure if he also plays someone in right back like Williams, because last night Telles and Williams came on and they were pretty awful playing in the respective fullback positions. So whether he does that again or not, considering how bad it was, maybe Wan-Bissaka ends up being the one who plays all 3. Difficult to say. Big Hitters, how you doing, mate? He says nice graphics. Thank you, mate. Appreciate that a lot. Yeah, a lot of hours went into all these graphics. Even just this background you see here. This is the result of a lot of web development. There's a browser add-on where you can redesign web pages. So this is the live FPL website. It works like the normal FPL website, but it's got some custom CSS. Thanks to my degree in computing. So that's how I can do things like the background and the billboard, and how it fits nicely on the screen like that. M.A., how we doing? He says, it's about Aubameyang, a good move. Aubameyang's an interesting one. Obviously Lacazette was injured, but he was on the bench in the Europa League last night and he came on, so I'm not sure if he plays both, so I would steer clear of Aubameyang personally. Kobe, how you doing? He says, hey Focal, bringing in size to Digne. Nice, I like that move a lot. Digne obviously has the double, and then he doesn't blank in 36 either. In fact, he plays Sheffield, so it's a good fixture after the double as well. Anyway, the question was, can you name any of the most transferred in players heading into this game week? And these are the most transferred in players heading into this game week. It's Mason Greenwood is the most transferred in. The numbers are probably even more than this by now. Well, they certainly will be. I took this screenshot about an hour or two ago. This is courtesy of ffstuff.co.uk. So Greenwood's the most transferred in. Over 250,000 have transferred him in. Likewise, Cavani. I'm surprised by Cavani, actually. Started last night in the Europa League, scored. But we know he's not capable of playing so many games in a condensed schedule. So, yeah, maybe he plays 2 of the 3. We'll see. Ward-Prowse, another interesting one. Over 200,000 have brought him in. Rashford, over 200,000 have brought him in. Likewise, Calvert-Lewin. And to the contrary, can you guys name any of the most transferred out players heading into double game week 35? And can you name the most transferred out player? When I took the screenshot, I was actually surprised. It wasn't a player I immediately thought of, but it does make sense. The player who is the most transferred out. Yeah, a lot of United here. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 players in the top 10 most transferred in. I hope I'm wrong. But I think this is going to go down in history, and in future seasons we're going to talk about how overhyped this triple game week was, and then how much it underdelivered relative to that hype. Chris reckons it's Son, most transferred out. Arpit reckons it's Kane. Rasks also reckons it's Son or Bamford. Kobe reckons it's Cody, Kane or Jota. Interesting. HSV. Oh, that's a question. Captain Nacho or Salah? I would go Salah. Imdadal says Gundogan. The most transferred out player was Bamford. Over 300,000 managers have sold Bamford heading into this triple game week. Likewise, Son and Kane, very highly sold. Obviously, this factors in free hits, so a lot of the people that are selling these players may end up back with them next game week, myself included. I sold Kane and Son on my free hit, but I'll get them back for game week 36. Lingard, another one, interesting. Gundogan was mentioned in the chat. Diaz, Stones, a lot of City players appear here. I can see De Bruyne, Cancelo also highly sold. But yeah, it's Bamford. Really disappointing one from Bamford last game week. Didn't even make it to the 60-minute mark. So this is the defensive stats, courtesy of FPL updates and tips on Twitter over the last 4 game weeks. So in terms of goals conceded, expected goals conceded, Palace are among the worst. Again, this is what I was saying earlier about having Guaita on a free hit. I just couldn't bring myself to do it, so I've ended up with Alisson. West Brom conceding the most shots on target. In the case of West Brom, it makes sense. You know, they have to get the win. They have to give everything to get the 3 points, which obviously means they have to attack. So as a result, that does look like they're conceding a lot of shots. Southampton conceding the most big chances. And at the other end of the scale, it's Chelsea and Brighton who have conceded the fewest big goals. Likewise, Chelsea, the fewest expected goals conceded. Arsenal, surprisingly, up there for shots conceded and big chances conceded. Surprising on that. Holdings, I know Holdings a popular player, especially with David Luiz out. It looks like Holdings' minutes should be fairly safe. And these are the offensive stats. So for goals scored, Spurs on top. Expected goals scored, shots on target, and big chances, Liverpool out on top. Again, when I look at these stats, it makes me want to put the armband back on Salah. Shall I do it? What do you guys think? Oh, I shouldn't be making these decisions when I'm in the middle of a deadline stream. It's one thing I've promised myself I wouldn't do, is I wouldn't make any decisions while I'm live. I'd make my decisions before the deadline. Oh, anyway, and at the other end of the scale, Sheffield bottom for goals scored, expected goals scored, shots on target. Wolves down there as well, really poor from Wolves. obviously suffering with the amount of injuries they've got. I think what I'll do is I'll leave it on Bruno just to protect myself. I feel like having the free hit is an advantage in itself. I think I'll leave it. So an interesting stat on Southampton: their last 6 league matches, no clean sheets at all for Southampton. They've conceded 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 5. Why did I include this graphic? This just makes me think about Salah again. I don't know what to do. Up it says Captain Fernandez, but I says do it focal, Captain Salah. Afan says when it duck go King Mo Salah. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. I should have made my mind up before going live, because I can't think clearly while also being live and discussing what, everything that's going on here. Anyway, shall we carry on with the stream? I'll put it back on my team. So this is my free hit team. Bruno's captain, Salah is vice. Mikey Man says, need a recommendation for a player to bring in for target. A bit hesitant to get a United defender, as he might not play 3 games, and they also blank next week, so I'd only field 10 without a hit. What's your starting 11 looking like, Monkey Man? Because it's not the end of the world to play target, in honesty. And, if you don't make that transfer, then you've got an extra one heading into Blank Gameweek 36, which of course we've completely forgotten about. There is a big blank off the back of this exciting triple game week, and a lot of sides like United, Leicester, blank in 36, which are of course teams we own a lot of the assets for. Suji, how you doing? He says, I'm Captain Salah with Fernandez at vice. Oh, you're killing me, chat. You're absolutely killing me. Maybe I should put it back on Salah. It's Murphy's Law, Whatever I do, it's going to be the wrong one, isn't it? Do you guys ever experience that with your team? You make a decision and it was always, in hindsight, the wrong one. Shall I do a live coin flip? Podnas says, no brainer, Bruno. The thing is, as well, that worries me is I'm at a fairly good rank. I'm top 100k. And Bruno's effective ownership is going to be absolutely ridiculous. It's going to be, it could be even record breaking. I think it might be, 180% plus, maybe 200% plus. So if I end up going Salah and Bruno, gets a couple of goals against Villa, maybe gets a jammy penalty against Liverpool, I'm absolutely screwed, and my rank will plummet unless Salah can match that. And maybe I just need to, play the game smart at this point and protect my rank, and hope that all the other picks in my free hit draft, bring in the points to make up the differential from the little gains I'll make from Bruno. We saw, was it a game week or 2 ago, Kane's effective ownership was over 200%. So even if he was your captain, you dropped rank for every point that Kane got. Irish experiences that every week. Honestly, sometimes you're 50-50 on a decision, and then you look back in hindsight and you're like, okay, well, I made the wrong one there. That wasn't it. EJT says, Laka to Antonio or Kane to DCL. I would go Kane to DCL. Antonio's got a single game week. DCL's got double. And obviously DCL's got Sheffield and 36 as well, which is a very good game week. A very good fixture, sorry. Before I forget, while you're here, like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're not. Really good turnout for this one. When you like the video, it helps the channel grow, and the YouTube algorithm recommends my channel to others out there. Because obviously it's a very saturated market, FPL, and I'm quite late to the game here, so trying to grow on that growth path, but it does need likes and subscriptions and all that, unfortunately, because of the YouTube algorithm. Otherwise I wouldn't be asking. So yeah, like the video, and again, thank you everyone that has tuned in so far. Arif, Ayush, Afan, Ahmed, Arpit, Dylan, EJ, THS, Lee, James, Parry, James, Yap. Got two Jameses here. And we've got a J. Kobe, Monkey Man, Pod, Narat, Sponsheet, Stuart, Sujit, and Vabel. Appreciate your being here. Anyone else I might have missed as well? Vabel says, should I sell Kane or Son? Depends who you sell him for, Vabel. It really depends who you're going to be selling them for. You know, if you're selling Kane for Watkins, then, you know, I don't think that's worth it. If you're going to be going Kane to Vardy, for example, and you have a way to navigate 36, then I'd say Kane's the one you sell. Just depends who you sell for. Anyway, we are halfway to the deadline, so I think we should play a little round of Who's That Player? If anyone hasn't played before, I'm going to show you a cutout of a player, like they used to do back in the days of Pokemon, and you need to guess who that player is. So let's start off with a nice easy one, shall we? Who's that player? That barely fits on the screen. Shall I zoom out? Nah, that's alright. Who is that player? James Parry, how we doing, mate? Seen your comments on Reddit. Is that on the Rate My Team thread? If you need help with your team, let me know how I can help, James. Ahmed asked, why Allison for the save points? It was really because I didn't know. I mean, besides Allison, the next best option is probably Gaeta. I'm not convinced Henderson plays all three. I think De Gea gets a game. And I'm not sure Gaeta does well over the double. He might get a clean sheet against Sheffield, but besides that, it's slim picking. So therefore, it had to be Allison. And he could easily get a clean sheet in both. You are absolutely right, chat. It is Bruno. That was an easy one, right? I think everyone except Afan got that one. It wasn't Hamza Chowdhury. Although I'm not sure if that's a serious guess, because he's got a massive afro, right? This is the next one. Bit trickier, this one. Who's that player? God, this one's a bit of a dodgy cutout, actually. I'd be really impressed if anyone gets this one. Who is that player? So all of these players that you're going to be shown do feature in this triple game week. Not necessarily just Man United players with a triple, but they're all double game week players. There's no single game weekers on this one. Yeah, this one's really hard, actually. I might have stumped you with this one. It's not Salah, it's not Digne. Stuart, how you doing, mate? He says bench one of Jota, Lingard, Son, Kane and Watkins. I would bench Lingard. Just purely from a numbers perspective. Those others are likelier to do better because they've got the double. Obviously, Jota could be benched for one, but he'll still get more minutes. And we've seen him do damage off the bench. Not Castagna. Not Iheanacho. Arpit got it. Wow. It was Allison. Great guess. Suji got it as well. Allison. Yeah, well played. Sponshy got it as well. Well played, guys. Okay, next one. Another tricky one. Another double game week player or triple game week player. No spoilers. It's not Mount. Not Kane. Chuck your guesses in the chat. Who's that player? Not Castagna. Not Mount. Not Dan James. James Yap is on the right track. Babel, is Henderson a good punt? He's a good punt, yeah. I wouldn't be surprised though if De Gea plays the Leicester game, to be honest. I know Henderson's number one, but, you know, it's 3 games in 5 days, as we keep saying. So, just not sure if he plays all 3, but he's certainly a good punt, absolutely. Podner guesses Don Van Beek. James Yap also says, Van de Beek. And Bob Van Bilsen got it as well. It was indeed Van der Beek. All it's taken is a triple game week for him to start getting some minutes. That's all it took. Started in the Europa League. Surely get some good minutes over this triple game week. He wasn't particularly good actually in the Europa League game. Okay, this is a bit of an easy one, I think. Who's that player? Come on, guesses in the chat. You surely all know this one. Who's that player? Emotion Aside says these are getting harder. They are. The problem is, when I used to do these, everyone used to get them. And everyone used to get all of them, so I'm chucking in some harder ones now. Can't be too easy, can it? Otherwise that's no fun. Although, it looks like this one might have been too easy. James, Adam, Spongy, Podner, Ahmed, Sujit, Rask, Arfit, all guess Lindelof. You are absolutely right, it is Lindelof. Alright, should we do one more? One more? Stuart got it as well. Good guesses. Alright, last one. Who's that player? Adam guesses Castagna. Stuart says distinctive elbow gives it away. I didn't know that Lindelof had a distinctive elbow. I'll be honest. Stuart says Madison. Drew says Matter. Arpit says it's Matters. Adam reckons it's Madison. Babel says it's Matters. Sponchy says Matters. A lot of Madison guesses in the chat. The answer was... It was Matters. Well played. Well played. Alright, final warning. Don't forget to get your voting on our captain poll on our Discord. If anyone's not in the Discord, there is a link in the description. We'll have a look at the results of that imminently. If anyone's not in our Discord, genuinely useful FPL resource. We've got things like the price changes, we've got the lineups, we've got the live scores, got your bonus points, got your stat spot. There's loads of commands available there. You can just do info and then a player, like info Salah, and then boom, the bot gives you info about that player. We've got injury updates, game week stats. I think we're expecting most captain to be Kane here, but we'll see. Top 10k stats. Insider trading, love this one. This one shows you which moves Premier League players and staff of clubs are making that concern the clubs they're from. So there have been some very interesting accidental leaks this season. There's loads more. We've got news, transfer trends, deadline alerts, and more. So, link in the description to join. These are the results. Wow. So Bruno has 83 votes, followed by Salah with just 10. Greenwood's got 7 votes. Ian Nacho's got 8. 3 votes for Shaw. Interesting. 2 votes for Trent. Love the Trent pick. DCL's got 2 votes. 6 votes for other. I mean, it's kind of what we expected, isn't it? Bruno heavily the favourite. I think his effective ownership will be touching 200% this game week. I don't think there's many that have the triple captain left. If anyone in chat still has theirs, let me know. Unbelievable patience if you've still got your triple captain at this point. I have to be honest, it's very jammy that I have my free hit for what's happened this game week. The only reason I still held on to it was because there was talk of the Premier League moving the fixtures back to allow all teams to have a home game with fans. And as a result of that, it did mean that they were going to be moving some fixtures around, which meant there would be a double and a blank. So I wanted to hold on to it just for that. And what we've had instead is just, no one ever expected this. Absolutely bonkers to have a triple game week. As I say, the last triple game week was back in 2005, 2006, which was Middlesbrough. So it could be another 15 years before we next have a triple game week. I'm just trying to find the tweet I posted about the triple game week. Here it is. So Middlesbrough had a triple game week back in 2005, 2006, which shows how rare this is. They had a 1-1 draw, 0-0 draw, and a 1-0 loss, and they had the same amount of rest. They played Saturday, and then Monday, and then Wednesday. So 3 games in 5 days. Not even the goalkeeper played in all 3 of those games. Lee Catamol played the most minutes. He played 198 minutes across those 3. And I've just added some further thoughts here. United are, of course, a bigger team, but I think there's lessons to be learned from history. So if you're expecting Bruno to haul in all 3, I do think he'll end up disappointed, and it could be the defenders that come out on top. So I'm trying to offer a realistic perspective there. It's obviously very exciting to have a triple game week, but just a realistic perspective there on what might happen. I do think we're going to see an unbelievable amount of rotation for that Leicester game in the middle of the 3. Sorry if I've missed any messages in chat. Bucci, how you doing, mate? Most Wanted says Man United goalkeeper. So Henderson's their #1 choice in the league right now. Dating back to when David De Gea had his baby, actually. Henderson came in because David De Gea was back in Spain, and since then Henderson's been first choice for Man United. But as we saw just then, the last triple game week we had, not even the keeper played all 3. So I don't think it's out of the question to see David De Gea play against Leicester, or one of the 3. Anyway, let's crack on with the stream. So these are the Goalscorer Odds for this coming game week. I can't fit all of these on actually, but this is how it looks. Maybe I can zoom out a bit. So Salah is top for the Southampton game, the first of his double, 59% chance of a goal. Oh, everything tells me I need to put it back on Salah. Oh, I'm going to regret leaving on Bruno, aren't I? Kane's got very good odds as well. A little bit worried about Kane. Obviously, in my free hit, I sold him, and it's well within the realm of possibility for him to do well against Leeds. Vardy's got good odds as well for tonight's game, 53% chance of a goal. Yotta's also got good odds in that Southampton game, likewise Mane. Aubameyang and Lacazette, again, this is assuming that the player starts. And some of the goal scorer odds for the second game, Vardy's got decent odds there as well. So I'm quite happy to own Vardy, in honesty, for this double game week. Obviously he blanks in 36, so I'm quite happy to have him on the free hit, and then he'll leave my team, and then obviously Leicester's fixtures get tougher for the remainder of the season. And these are the clean sheet odds. Again, Liverpool-Leicester top for clean sheet odds. Leicester's game tonight against Newcastle. We've seen the lineup, a leak of the lineup, which we had at the top of this stream. As always, when the stream finishes, I will add timestamps, so if anyone missed anything earlier in this stream, then that's there for you. And if you are watching this on catch up in the future, then thank you for watching on catch up. Appreciate you. Arsenal have got good clean sheet odds as well. Likewise, Man City. Chelsea and Man United have got good odds for the second of their double, or in Man United case, the triple. It wouldn't surprise me if, going back to the Kings of the Game Week that we talked about earlier, if we end up with a defender coming out on top. If you cast your mind back to Game Week 25, which was a double game week, it was Dallas that came out on top there with 17 points. And this is what we've seen, not just in this season, but previous seasons. And if you cast your mind really far back, who remembers Game Week 19? The legendary performance from John Stones, 27 points he got back in double Game Week 19. So, again, a defender coming out on top. And when there's lots of fixtures, it's obviously difficult to play that attacking, fluid, expansive football. So it's not surprising that defenders do the best in the doubles. And maybe we'll see the same again. A few of my free hit drafts had a 4 at the back. Even one draft had 5 at the back, actually. I had Trent, Robbo, Maguire, Wan-Bissaka, Castagna, back 5. It was a 5-2-3 draft, but we've ended up with 3-4-3. Could be lessons to be learned after this double game week. We'll see. Kobe says play Jota, Wood, or Kane. Kane. Aish agrees. Arpit says Dunk versus Wolves or Dallas versus Tottenham. I would play Dunk. Again, we were looking at the offensive stats over the last 4 game weeks, and Wolves was really, really poor. They're just basically not putting up good attacking numbers, and it's no surprise really with the injuries that they've got. RF says, what do you think about only having 2 Man United assets this week with the fixture pile-up? Having 2 would allow me to take 1 less hit next week. Yeah, I don't think it's the end of the world at all, to be honest with you. Like I say, it wouldn't surprise me if this triple game week's been really, really hyped up, and I wouldn't be surprised if it really under-delivers and we end up seeing a lot of Man United assets playing 2 of the 3. So basically just a double game week. So yeah, I think you're fine if you only have 2 of the 3. Not a problem. And let's have a look at the expected points, courtesy of fplreview.com. They have an algorithm which is more predictive than the Bookies Odds, so we like to include this as well. And and interestingly, Salah is top for expected points this game week. He's got 12.24 expected points. Bruno's got 11.97. Rashford's third with 11.94, just barely behind Bruno actually. Greenwood's third, 10.53. Obviously one of the features they have here is you can put in how many minutes you expect the player to get. So for example, if I think Greenwood's going to actually just get 60 on average, then he'll update his expected points. But yeah, it's Salah, interestingly, is the one out on top. So really, I think this comes down to, if you think Salah does better, do you have the balls to go against the vast majority of FPL managers who I think will have it on Bruno? And going back to what we were talking about earlier with how congested the fixtures are, this is a nice graphic from Lego Mane. And what he's done here is he's mapped out the amount of rest that players get between games from here until the end of the season. And you look at Liverpool, they play on Saturday the 8th, and then they get 4 days off, and then they've got Man United on Thursday. So a good amount of rest, and it really puts in perspective here. Man United, Villa, 1 day, Leicester, 1 day, Liverpool, absolutely bonkers schedule. Really is crazy. So that could play in the hands of Liverpool. Difficult one to call. United might be exhausted, they might have picked up an injury for all we know. Whereas Liverpool will have had that Southampton game, which you'd fancy them to do well in, and then 4 days off. So yeah, this is Lego Mane _FPL on Twitter. Really good account to follow. He makes some really interesting graphics. Wuchi still got the triple captain. Are you using it this week, Wuchi? If so, who won? Wuchi asks, start Dunk or Rudiger. I would start Rudiger just on the off chance he plays both. There's obviously a chance he does. I think you have to back the double gaming player there. Another really good graphic from Lego Mane _FPL is this one. So I'll just explain what he's done here. So he's taken the players that have a double game week or a triple game week, and he's worked out what the average points they got if you split their game weeks up into little pairs. So for example, Bruno, he didn't play in game week 1 actually, so 2 and 3 would be his mini game week pairing. So he's calculated based on that how many average points these players get over a mini double game week. So obviously 2 and 3 weren't a double game week, but let's pretend it was. He's worked out how many points they would have got for that double, and likewise for all the other players that double here. So if you were to split all of the players up into mini double game weeks to see or to get a feel of how they do over the two fixtures is actually Bruno, who has the highest average on 13.2 on average among each pairing, followed by Salah, who's got 11.5, Vardy's got 10.2, Martinez 9.5, DCL 9.3. So that's what this average column is. Really interesting graphic this. I hadn't really thought of it this way. The other one he's got here is form, so he's factoring in the form that the player's in, which is obviously an important thing to remember as well, because in Bruno's case he's only had a goal and an assist since double game week 26, so he's out of form. Salah's in form. He's got 3 goals in the last 4 game weeks, which is in 3 starts as well, so Salah's a lot more in form. Every time I talk about Salah, it just tells me to go for him, but I think I'm going to leave it on Bruno. I can't be making decisions while I'm live on YouTube. So an interesting perspective this, and he's also calculated the maximum points that players got over a double. So it's Bruno and Calvert-Lewin that got the max over a mini double game week with 29 points. Wouldn't that be great if Bruno and Calvert-Lewin got 29 points? I don't know if it'll happen, but it'd be absolutely amazing, wouldn't it? And obviously another person on Twitter who makes good graphics is Ben Crellin, so I'll just leave that on screen while I catch up on chat. That is the schedule. So we've got the triple game week starting this evening for Man United, and of course there's the blank in 36 for Man United, Arsenal, Chelsea and Leicester. Something to bear in mind, as exciting as this double is, there's a lot of teams, or 4 teams obviously, but a lot of players that blank in 36. And we do own a lot of players from these sides, obviously the likes of Iheanacho, Bruno, other Man United assets we potentially are bringing in this week. Chelsea, obviously some of us own the likes of Rudiger, Mendy, Arsenal players even like Holding. Ahmed reckons Mount's going to score versus Arsenal and he'll play versus Man City even as a sub. Yeah, difficult one, Mount. It wouldn't surprise me if he plays both games. Stuart says go El Ghazi instead. Yeah, so we haven't talked about El Ghazi. So he's in my draft. And let me just talk about why he's in my free hit draft. So obviously Grealish is out injured. And who's the other player out injured? Trezeguet. So El Ghazi's nailed in that starting 11 right now. And since he's come into the starting 11, he's scored 2 in his last 2. So West Brom and Everton. On top of that, he's on penalty duties when he plays. One of these goals was in fact a penalty. On top of that, he's a very selfish player, which isn't particularly great for Aston Villa, but it's great for FPL. You want greedy players. You know, Salah arguably another greedy player, takes loads of shots, which is what you want from an FPL perspective, and likewise you want them to be on penalties. On top of that, over the last 2 game weeks, and obviously this is a very short time frame, over the last 2 game weeks, no player has a higher expected goal involvement than El Ghazi, even if you take out the penalty he had. He's got the highest among all midfielders over the last 2 game weeks, so I think he's a really solid punt for the double. I really do. Obviously Grealish is potentially not far away from coming back. I certainly hope it won't be the Everton game, because then it might be El Ghazi that drops out, but for 5.2, very, very good punt, I think, on a free hit. So that's why I've got him. The other option I had was Digne in defence and then downgrade El Ghazi. I could end up doing better, but the problem was I couldn't afford it, so it meant having to downgrade Alisson to Guaita. So that's why I ended up with the Alisson and El Ghazi duo rather than the other way around. Ravel says, can you rate my team? He's got Martinez, Henderson, Kabak, Digne, Konsa, Dallas, Maguire, Salah captain. Interesting. Bruno, Kyle Walker-Peters, Jota, Smith Rowe, Bamford, Nacho, and Kane. Bench boost played. Yeah, it looks like a really strong team, to be honest with you. I like the Henderson punt. Konsa's obviously got a tough double, but not out of the question for him to get a clean sheet on one of the 2. Smith Rowe, not sure if he plays both, but to be honest with you, it has to be this game week you play the bench boost. There is not going to be a better game week, so yeah, it looks like a strong bench boost. I like it. Good team. Yeah, I like it. Good luck. Good luck with the Salah captaincy as well. Is anyone in chat not going Bruno captain? If so, who have you got the armband on? HS Lee says, Captain Salah, let's go. How many mins? Danny CR. Yeah, you've got 3 or 4 minutes until the deadline. I don't think there was anything else I'd prepare for this stream that I wanted to cover. I think that is all of it. As always, prepared loads of content for this stream, so I would really appreciate it while you're here if you liked the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're not. Hours of work goes in behind the scenes to prepare for these streams, and I think it's better when we rattle through all the various talking points and content and considerations rather than just me standing here or sitting here with my team on stream just taking questions. But if there's any questions for the last few minutes we've got, absolutely shoot them in chat, let me know. Adam says, hey Focal, so you put the armband Bruno after all. I did, mate. I've got it on Bruno. I don't think I'm going to change it before the deadline. I just want to protect myself really, because you know, if Bruno does outscore Salah by a fair margin, then my rank's going to plummet. So I think I need to protect my rank at this stage of the season. It's going to be difficult to recover otherwise. And I think having my free hit is an advantage enough in itself. Carlson says, do we talk about Pogba triple captain yet? We haven't talked about Pogba at all, actually, interestingly, but he's another one completely under the radar. You know, we were talking about the kings of the game week earlier and which player gets in there, and it wouldn't surprise me if it's a completely random player like Wan-Bissaka or Pogba that ends up in there. You know, Pogba also, he can play down the left, so you know, if Rashford does miss one, it could be Pogba that plays there. And well within the realm of possibilities for Pogba to come out on top. But I don't think triple captain Pogba, no. I don't think I'd triple captain him. I think if you triple captain this game pick, I think it has to be Bruno or Salah. Ayush says if you show the dog, he'd hit 1k within 5 minutes. I don't know where he is, actually. He's out and about. He normally likes to get involved on the streams, but he's not feeling it today, so that's fine. He could be that way. That's totally up to him. One thing we didn't look at actually was the fixture ticker after double game week, or triple game week I should say, 35. Obviously we're all distracted by this exciting triple game week, but there's only 3 game weeks left afterwards, so there's only 3 transfers left, unless you've rolled one of course, so very limited amount of moves available still, and obviously some sides have a blank in 36. So it's something to keep an eye on as well, what you're going to plan to do for the remainder. In my case, I'm thinking about doing Iheanacho to Antonio in 36, because obviously Iheanacho has a blank and Antonio doesn't. And of course, Antonio is back from injury, did very well last game week. I'm just going to refresh that one last time and make sure my team is sorted. Good, it is. Likewise, chat, make sure your team is sorted, bench in the right order, captain on the right player. We've got 1 minute till the deadline. Nobody panic, no last minute decisions. Really looking forward to this game week. And I believe it's quite a long game week as well. Oh, the game's been updated now, so let me get the fixtures up from here. Premier League fixtures. Click that. So of course the game week starts tonight, and that is the deadline. Wuchi's called it, deadline. No problem, Wuchi. Appreciate you tuning in. So yeah, the game week starts tonight. Leicester v Newcastle, and then tomorrow we've got 4 games: Leeds v Spurs, Sheffield v Palace, Man City versus Chelsea, and then Liverpool versus Southampton. Some really good games tomorrow. I'm away this weekend, so I don't know how much football I get to watch. Farston says Pogba captain is locked. Let's go. Good luck, Farston. Hope it works. Hope it works out for you, mate. I don't know if anyone knows this in chat, but I started this channel because of Falston. I know him in real life, and he has a Twitch channel. And he kept saying to me, you should make a YouTube channel. And I'm in an iron about it for quite a long time. And I ended up doing it just before the new year. So I think it's about November time. So thanks to Falston, I started this channel. Wouldn't have done it without him. And then Sunday, we've got Wolves v Brighton, Villa v United, West Ham v Everton, Arsenal versus West Brom. And then we've got more football on Monday, Fulham v Burnley, not a great fixture that. Tuesday, more games, Man United v Leicester, Southampton v Palace. Wednesday, more football, Chelsea v Arsenal. Thursday, Villa v Everton, Man United v Liverpool. Friday, Newcastle v City. Oh, sorry, that's the next game week, isn't it? So it finishes on Thursday. So we've got 6 straight days of football this game week. Unbelievable. How exciting. Anyway, I am literally heading off straight after this stream on holiday. So that is going to be the end of this stream. Thank you so much all for tuning in. Don't forget to like the video before you go. Subscribe to the channel if you're not. Appreciate your being here. Aish, Adam K, Ahmed, Falston, FH Rune, James, Yap, Kristen, Matt, Rats, Sponshy, Stuart, Wuchi, anyone else I've missed. Thank you all for being here. Good luck this triple game week. Hope you all get a nice big green arrow. Finish the season strong. The game week starts here. Good luck everyone. Thanks for tuning in and see you on the next one.